Are you stressed? Are you depressed? Yet, still well dressed? Are you so burnt out that you're standing in a giant tote? Mind so foggy you can't remember why you walked into a room? Or if you even walked into your own house?
Who are you?
Are you so overwhelmed that you open your Tupperware like you're in an infomercial? If any of these or more apply to you, I'm here to tell you, fear not, beautiful soul. Don't forget that you're a witch. Did I completely cover myself in cat fur from laying in that tote? Yes. Did I make an unnecessarily long and complex intro just so I wouldn't have to say the awkward hello, hi, my name is Crystal the Cottage Witch? Also yes. I'm also going to insert the reminder right here that normal stressors do happen from time to time with life. And another reminder that magical advice is not the same thing as medical advice. What I am going to be briefly talking about today are some simple binding and poppet spells to help with stress, feelings of overwhelm, and burnout. I'm going to make a much more in-depth video when it comes to binding spells and poppet magic just because I love both of them so much. But for the purpose of today's video, I'm just going to give you some short examples. I won't actually be doing the spell work for them. Also, quick disclaimer, Miss Vela Marigolds, I saw your video about me. That was the sweetest thing in the witchy tag. I'm sorry I'm so late to that. I never check my notifications in that way because I never thought I would be mentioned by anyone before. So when I saw your video, I was so emotional and I showed it to everybody and I had everybody subscribe to you and you said such nice things about me and I greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate you. We stick up for each other. So I will have to go back and figure out the questions for the 25 questions, the witchy path or magical path or something. I can't remember the actual things, but if you don't know who Vela Marigolds is, go check out her channel. And tell her Crystal the Cottage Witch sent you. Even though I don't have as many subscribers, but still. We all support each other in here. It doesn't matter if you have 1 million subscribers. It doesn't matter if you have 1 subscriber. We share the love. Now for today's video, like I said, I'm going to be talking about a few examples of binding spells and poppet spells. This is a very, very quick video. But sometimes I feel like when life gets really, really hard, we feel completely stripped of our power. We feel helpless and hopeless. And again, if anyone need to remind you, you are a witch. Don't forget it. Who are you? You're a witch. Say it with me. I'm a witch. I'm a witch. I'm a witch. My windows are open right now, and I totally forgot about that, but I don't care. My neighbors mostly know who I am. But sometimes I feel like we forget that we're witches. Even now, in 2024, I almost said in 2004, I am living in the past so hard today. But in 2024, witches still get a bad rap. They still get a bad name. Obviously, it is nowhere near the same as innocent people who are killed and sadly massacred throughout the centuries, and still even to this day for unjust reasons. But it's a lot more open now than it was back then, but you will still run into some people who are kind of like, you know what, and that's fine. Don't let other people kill that little fire inside of you. You know what I mean? That little wildfire that just springs through your veins and makes you want to dance with the trees and wiggle your fingers through incense smoke and just remind yourself that you are this intricate, powerful being that exists. I hope this is making sense. I have to stop every 5 seconds because my neighbors are outside talking and like I said, my window's open. And I don't want to accidentally record their conversation on here, so I'm sorry for the pauses and I keep losing my train of thought. So hopefully that all makes sense when I have to edit it together. I really need to script out my videos. Normally I just think of an idea and I'm like, oh, I'm going to talk about this and grab the camera and sit down in front of it without writing down notes or anything. The only video I have ever scripted was my Leyline, my old Earth Magic video with the folklore of ghosts and fairies. And I didn't want to forget everything, so I typed it out on my laptop and put it directly behind my phone. Because there was so much information and so many dates, and I wanted to make sure I gave as much information as possible. So that's the only video I've ever scripted, and you could tell I scripted it because I'm looking above my phone like this as I'm reading it out. Anyway, what are binding spells? Binding spells are basically what their name states. They bind something. Some want to bind people. Some want to bind actions of people. Some want to bind their energy to themselves. Bind energy to your home and to your space. But if you do any like home binding spells, make sure you attach it to something that could easily be removed afterwards. That way, if you have remove or anything else like that and you want to take the energy and you want to move your stuff with you somewhere else, it's not anchored to that space. You also don't want to bind certain things if you have certain beliefs, Because if you were to eventually pass away, and if you had a home and your family no longer had your home and your energy was bound to that place, it's in some beliefs, I'm not saying this is everybody's, but it's in some beliefs that your energy would be binded there as well. Again, that's not a very common belief, but I know there are people of many different beliefs that watch my channel, so again, I want to make sure that I'm like catering to everyone in that sense. But for the binding spells, you could do something so simple to help you with some of your worries, stresses, anything like that that makes you feel overwhelmed and burnt out. First thing, for a basic binding spell, this one you won't even need anything except for pen and paper and a piece of furniture. You would just write down whatever you want to be weighed down, but you have to sit there and you have to focus on it. Magic is going to take the path of least resistance, so make sure it is something that is within normal means, but focus on it. Feel the energy. If it's about a certain person, if it's about a certain situation, anything that you don't want to weigh down with you anymore, that situation to be completely squashed down and weighed down, write it down on a piece of paper. Write it down 3 times, each time folding it counterclockwise to push away from you, folding it away from you counterclockwise, and then stick it underneath the leg of your sofa. You could also wrap it up in black electrical tape. And I say electrical tape, not duct tape. Some people are under the belief that magic and energy has the electrical charges. So you're wrapping it up in something that could safely hold in those charges and escape it from leaking or shocking anything else. And then you're sticking it underneath your sofa, underneath a table. If you have a chair that doesn't sit right, just stick whatever issue is underneath that chair to weigh it down. You could also do the same thing with river stones. You could take some safely biodegradable paper and write down everything that's weighing you down. Everything. Then you could wrap it up to the stone, again, away from you. You could even skip it across the water to get it far away from you, and then let it sink down. Eventually, as the waves and the currents slowly take these things away from you, the paper breaks down. Again, make sure you're using safe paper that could dissolve in water, won't harm anything around it. I think one of the options is rice paper. I'll have to double check that because, again, I'm going off the top of my head. But if you wanted something, if you're like, but what's biologically and ecologically safe paper? I believe rice paper is an option. But as those currents ebb and flow through there, it's slowly taking everything away that's being weighed down and dissolving it away from you. If you don't want to use paper, you could just speak everything to the rock. Hold it to your heart, hold it to your head. I do the same thing with tarot decks when I'm like completely confused. And I'm going to be doing a video on the Ideomotor effect and witchcraft, which has to do with tarot cards, pendulums, spirit boards, automatic writing, and other things like that. But anyway, I do that with my tarot decks if I feel very indecisive about something, so it could see what's in my heart. And it could also see the logic that's in my head. I know that sounds so weird, but when I'm really torn about situations and my heart's feeling one way and my head is feeling another, I hold it up to both so it could sense both. So it could kind of see where I'm coming from, but to give me the correct answer. But you could do that with the rock. A nice, pretty river stone, you could hold it to your heart for a little bit, thinking everything. Hold it to your head a little bit, thinking everything. Whisper everything to it. Poof. It's gone. Make sure you command it to stay to the rock, though. That's part of the binding spell. You could wrap it up in seaweed. You could wrap it up in grass after you speak everything to it to hold it in. If it's a specific person that's troubling you, I will put a disclaimer that normal binding spells will not work on narcissists. And I never see this discussed, or if it does, it just misses my radar. It could have been completely discussed before, but I could have just missed it. But again, regular binding spells, even return to sender spells, will not work on narcissists. But I have my own spell that does. But I'm going to put that in the binding video when I come out with that binding video. Because I think I might actually script that one. That way I'm not all over the place and chaotic. Though you guys seem to enjoy my chaotic energy. I feel bad because I talk to the camera like I'm hanging out with my friends and how I would talk to them. But you guys are here for content. You guys are here for learning, not for my rambles. But on a side note, I really hope that you are having a good day so far. Did you drink water? It's been warm here. Hopefully it's not too warm where you've been. Anyway, moving on. I wanted to make this video 5 minutes. I don't think it's going to be 5 minutes. So we're going to move on to poppets now. I'm going to share with you 2 examples for poppets that you can make. Because again, I'm going to make another in-depth video when it comes to poppets. But the first one that you can make is a decoy doll. What's a decoy doll? I feel like it's kind of self-explanatory, but I'll explain it a little bit. A decoy poppet is one that represents you, but it's not actually you. It's the one that'll contain all the essences and all the negative energy that is sent to you, or any bad feelings that you have will go to the Decoy Poppet. Now, it will have to have little bits of you, but with your specific wording, and you could put it in an aluminum foil lined box, shiny side, or a mirror box shining in, that way nothing else gets out to you. It will absorb your stressors that way. Again, within reason. Every time I go to talk, they start talking outside, and I keep losing my train of thought. Now, again, since this is a very brief video and I'm not giving a lot of details about the Decoy Poppet, some of you may feel a little bit nervous to try that because you want to make sure that you're completely detached from the decoy. And I completely understand that, so I'm going to leave you with a little bit of an easier option too as well. And that's a lift up poppet. This one you want connected to you, or a friend, or a loved one, a coworker, anyone who's feeling kind of down, anyone who's feeling kind of anxious, anyone who's feeling a little bit like the weight of the world is kind of smooshing them down. Like that Susie you got underneath your chair. No, I'm just kidding. Any Susies? I'm sorry. This one, you would make a poppet representing that person, and you would start with it on the floor. You would put as many lifelike details as you can. You would put their name as like the heart. You'd use certain kinds of herbs like lavender for calming, lemongrass, some spearmint, or maybe even some ginger to help energize them. Fill it with eucalyptus if they've been kind of sick or allergies have been bothering them. And you're going to name the poppet after whoever you're making it out of. Or for, not out of. We don't use people for poppets. Don't know what that was, but that was a big explosion that didn't sound like a firework as soon as I said that. Someone's mad. Anyway, what you would do with this lift up poppet or this lift up doll is every time that person or even yourself is feeling down, you would take it and lift it up a little bit higher. You could play nice music to it. You could let it sit out in the sunlight. You could talk sweet things to it. You could give it hugs. This is very therapeutic if you're doing it for yourself. I have a lot of inner child issues that I always work through. So for me, talking gently to it and giving it love and affection. Separate than my poppets that I use for inner child healing, because you could also do that too. But I say aloud the words that I wish I heard. And sometimes even just saying it to yourself is the therapy in itself. But you would take the doll and start on the floor, then put it up on a little shelf. Move it up a little bit higher. Maybe put it on a chair. Then maybe eventually move it to like a bookshelf or a table. And then like a ceiling shelf. And then start with another room. Just keep lifting it up higher and higher for that sympathetic magic of lifting yourself higher. I know this was very quick and I didn't actually show you how to do the spells, but don't worry, I am going to. I just wanted to put this out here. One, before I forgot, and two, this is seasonal depression time, and like, I know I get it bad. It's already starting to come, even though fall is my favorite. And if any of you out there are struggling, I see you. And I wish I could lift you all up and make poppets of all of you guys and put them all over my house. But if any of you guys are stressed by anything else too, little simple binding spells to bind that stress, contain that stress. You could even yell at a piece of paper, write everything in it, crumble up the piece of paper, then wrap that up in electrical tape as well to bind it. Sorry this was all over the place. I really hope some of this helps you. Again, shout out to Veil Marigolds. I can't wait to start that video. I do have another video coming out before that I already filmed, which is a witchy fall decorate with me, and we're going to be making lustral water. So if you never heard of lustral water or this ritualistic cleansing and purification water to like deep clean and purify, then I would recommend watching that video. I also give the recipe for my homemade antiseptic disinfecting pine sol witchy floor wash. It smells amazing. Plus, you get to see me decorate all this, which probably isn't that fun. But yes. Oh, and there was another one who tagged me in a post. Crimson. Oh, Crimson. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'll put up the screenshot. I'm so sorry. But thank you guys. You guys shared my post and you mentioned me in videos, and that means so much to me. Like, seriously. Thank you. Thank you. If you ever see this, thank you. And if you made it this far with all this random back and forth, thank you again. But I will see you guys soon. I hope you have a great day, evening, night, whatever it is, wherever you are. And I really, truly hope that good things happen to you. Bye.